Another Scream movie's been announced, so let's talk about it.
Everybody's a suspect!
Coming to get you, Bobber.
Wolfman's got Nards!
I'm going to cover a couple of things in this video. The first being the announcement of the Scream movie. What does it mean for the franchise and what kind of movie is this going to be? And the other point leads us on to remakes. If this is indeed a remake, are remakes actually necessary? The first Scream movie came out in 1996 and I was just a young kid at the time. I was only 13 years old, well, just coming up for 13 when the movie came out. I didn't see it until I was 14. I saw it the year after, just before the announcement of Scream 2, and I fell in love with the movie straight away. I watched it almost every day, just like most kids did back then, and I just fell in love with the franchise. I watched Scream 1, 2 and 3 many times, and I probably know every scene in the movie word for word. That's how much I watched Scream as a kid. And as I got a little bit older, I was looking at other movies that were coming out that are being remade, and I was always excited to see remakes coming out, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2003, Dawn of the Dead in 2004, and we always got the older generation telling us, why are we remaking this? This is not necessary, we shouldn't be remaking it. And I was like, shush, I never got to see these movies in the cinema, I want to see a remake. And that trend continued for years and years until, was it 2 years ago? Cabin Fever was announced. Cabin Fever was announced as a remake, and I was thinking, well, it's only been like 15 years since Cabin Fever originally came out in 2002. And I thought that's kind of unnecessary, and I actually felt like I was one of those older generation back in the late 90s, early noughties. And I can see how they feel now with regards to remakes. Are remakes necessary? Sometimes they are. When you've got movies like The House of Eyes. The original House of Eyes wasn't great. The Last House on the Left, I Spit on Your Grave. Those movies weren't very good movies originally, and they improved upon those movies with remakes that were really good. But you do get from time to time movies that they're not remaking it to improve, they're just remaking it to make money. For example, Halloween in 2007, Psycho in 1998. These movies are only remade to make money. They're not remade to improve on anything, because they can't literally improve on anything unless they do their own style, like Dawn of the Dead. I felt it was impossible to improve on Dawn of the Dead, but although they didn't improve on the original, they've done something completely different, and it's probably on par with the original. So when you're looking at movies like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, at this moment in time, I don't think these movies necessarily need remakes, because A, it's not been that long since they came out. It's just about 20 years ago now. And B, some of them don't need remakes because they're good enough. And that brings us on to Scream. There's no way on earth you're going to be able to, and I'm saying this now, there's no way you can remake Scream and make it better than the original was. Now that leads me on to my next point as to where I'll be taking this Scream franchise, because Wes Craven directed all 4 of the Scream movies. He didn't direct any of the TV episodes, but the TV episodes were something completely different. I actually quite enjoyed the MTV TV series. I never even watched the VHS, the VH1 version, or season 3 as some people are calling it, of Scream. I didn't even watch that. Not interested. So what they're going to do with this new movie, is it going to be a direct remake? Because if it is, I don't think that would work. Personally, at this moment in time, I don't think it would work. Are they going to make it another sequel? Because if they do, how many times can Neve Campbell or Sidney Prescott be caught up in a Scream killer, a ghost face killer? She's already met her brother, she's already killed the original people. How far can they go with the Sidney Prescott character? And that goes with the likes of Gale and Dewey and anybody else that were in the original 4 movies. So would they reboot it? And reboot probably sounds like it's going to be a remake, but no, they could actually reboot it in the sense that what happened in the first 4 movies happened, and they're going to continue on with a completely different story. But again, that might not be favourable to people who would miss the original characters, so we're stuck in a kind of catch-22. At this moment in time, there's absolutely no news available to us, apart from the fact that Kevin Williamson is not coming back to write, and Spyglass have taken over, because it was Dimensions films before that, under the Harvey Weinstein Corporation. They bought it over, so I don't know what Spyglass are going to be able to do with this franchise, especially with Kevin Williamson not returning. Now, Kevin Williamson at the time, back in the mid-90s, late 90s, he wrote some really smart stuff. In fact, stuff that if it wasn't written back then and he only started writing it today, it would still be relevant. That's how good a writer Kevin Williamson was or is. So without him coming back, I don't think we're going to get the same feel as to what the first 4 Scream movies were. So if they are going to remake it or reboot it or whatever, it's just not going to feel the same, I don't think. Since Scream is one of my all-time favourite horror movies, as it probably is a lot of you guys, I'm going to be covering the news on this Scream movie or whatever it might be. I'll be covering it on this channel. I do cover quite a lot of horror movies on my channel, especially the Halloween franchise, and I'm hoping that if this Scream movie does go ahead, then we'll get something promising, and whatever happens between now and then, I'll be covering it on my channel, so stay tuned for that. As always guys, thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.